and welcome to the CPD Group podcast. Join us as we guide you through all things CPD, interview some special guests, and offer advice to help your business thrive. We hope you enjoy listening. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 4 of the CPD Group podcast. Today we have Andrew Kirk with us here today from findcourses. So Andrew's going to talk to us a little bit about their organisation today and tell us a little bit about, the providers that they have on their system and the courses they advertise. So Andrew, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for joining us. So, findcourses. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Andrew, and findcourses and what you guys do and where are you based?
Sure. Yeah, it's been I think for me personally. So my career progression rather. I'm originally from America. I don't know if that shows anymore. I've been living in Sweden now about 10 years. Before moving here, I worked in occupational health research, worked for a large research hospital, really on the research side of policy, compliance and the like policy setting. So when I met my now wife and moved to Sweden, my career changed pretty dramatically. I started working in the digital marketing space and really gravitated towards learning. And found a fantastic place here at findcourses. I'd say that findcourses in general started out of a Swedish company, obviously based in Sweden. Since then, we have gone through a few changes over the years. Started out about 20 years ago, really doing the whole search and discovery experience from higher education, undergrad, postgrad, and obviously vocational here in Sweden, and then into professional quite early. So we've been in the corporate learning market as a company for about 18 years. The UK site, findcourses.co.uk, has been around for about 15 years, and really started in the same spirit of the larger company to help everyone in the world find the right education. Which is a nice broad vision, but one that I've come to love more and more over the years.
From my research, just having a little look into your platform and the website and everything like that, it seems like a really important space to be, for people to project the training that they have and to promote it across the world. Is that about right?
Yeah, for us and thinking about findcourses.co.uk in particular. So we will be market leaders for search and discovery for corporate learning and professional. There are a lot of great channels in the UK in particular for online learning and of course a lot of resellers and the like that do fantastic work. For our part, the way that we've always viewed ourselves is as learning and really provider agnostic. So our goal is to provide folks that are searching for learning, that are trying to find the right course for them, to provide them with as many options as possible, and as many opportunities to reach out and start conversations with training providers to understand if what they're offering is going to suit their needs. So we've really worked hard over the years to avoid becoming too reliant on any individual client, but of course we want to make sure that we're providing great opportunities for our learners, because ultimately that's who we all serve.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned there as well, talking about the corporate side of things and linking up, organizations with training providers. Is it something that you do solely, or is it for the individual looking for training courses as well?
Right. And that goes a little bit into our history as well. So we work a lot with individual learners. And we think of the groups that we serve as really falling into 5 main segments. And so it's the HR and learning and development teams. It's it's those folks. It's the leaders and managers. So first we have the folks that are really responsible for procuring training for the large organization. And then it's leaders and managers looking to procure training for themselves and for their teams. And then employee specialists looking to procure training for themselves and their colleagues. So sort of what we think of as sort of the ones and twos. And then we have the student and job seeker markets, which are also incredibly important to us. And I would say that the student market is the one that goes over into Keystone Education Group now, our much larger company. When I started, we were 70 people. I think we're over 900 now. And so we'll be working with Find a University based out of Sheffield, and who are the market leaders for postgrad within the UK domestic. So we've found, as we go, we've always really looked to serve those, what we would think of as the tier 1 and 2 of our site. That said, in 2017 we added vocational learning to the site through the Hot Courses and Floodlight acquisition of those programs. So we work a lot with the college market and the job seeker market as well.
Fantastic. I mean, do you kind of specialize in particular subject areas, or is it, any kind of course matter? Is it what you'll put on the platform? I mean, what is it specifically? Is there a target audience?
Yeah, I would say that when we think of the programs that we put on the site, I think that our bread and butter is still very much business professionals and business services. But with that as well, we find, and I think a bit into accreditation and qualifications, we find that those are the programs, especially within corporates, that they need to go externally for. So when we think of within business, for example, there are verticals that lean more towards external training resources than internal. I'm sure you'll know, if you think of those that have higher compliance requirements, and so banking and finance and the public sector, these will have more of a need, and so we'll focus more of our content towards those verticals than we would say retail or the food service industry or grocery stores, which tend to develop pretty robust training programs for their staff internally. So I think our verticals and our approach really is intended to track with the external learning market generally.
And I imagine through your work, you come across quite a lot of, continual professional development and accredited training, as you mentioned there, alongside the qualification portfolio. So why do you find that training providers think that accreditation is actually quite important?
One of the things, and thinking about that, I'm going to take that question sideways, because I think that the thing about accreditation, and the thing I think when our learners and buyers are looking generally at a course, what they want more than anything else is confidence. They want to know that whatever need they're originally reaching out on, and they are reaching out on either a business need or a personal professional development need, they want to make sure that provider can handle that need. And so accreditation does a lot to build that confidence. And so to answer your question a little more head on, I think training providers should be interested in that for a number of reasons. But something we talk a lot about, and we want to do an actual study on, is the sales cycle, the correlation between accreditation and sales cycles for training providers. We see pretty strong indications that accredited providers are able to essentially close the deal a lot faster, in the same way that a name brand would. So when you have that confidence, it's a sort of, the more confidence, the less time it takes to explain your position, and so accreditation goes a long way in giving buyers that confidence.
Yeah, we find that a lot with the training providers we work with, that they come to us for, that extra level of credibility, so that it builds confidence in their clients, So you're absolutely right. We see the very, very similar thing at this end of the call as well. So in terms of those training providers that we have, I mean, we have them across every sector you can imagine, and they're all doing, the same thing. They're all trying to ensure that their product, their training courses can be the best they can be, and our team help them in doing that by reviewing all of their courses when they come through for their accreditation. So how can those training providers utilize Find Courses, to help maximize their sales?
Yeah, no, I think one of the core, obviously the core of our services, of our marketing services broadly, has always been the site. and listing courses on the site. And the way that we've, it's one thing to promote your company. It's another thing to put solutions directly in front of people and to really have a platform to describe your solutions. So we talk a lot about, content marketing versus solution-oriented marketing. And we want to, so our course, I think we put a lot of energy over the years in figuring out, well, how should our providers and how should we be supporting our providers to describe their courses? So we think a lot about these suitability and outcomes. And so we'll have providers that come on and they'll just do a general description of the course, and they'll leave it there. And then we'll have some that come on and they'll add the qualifications, they'll add the suitability, they'll add the outcomes, they'll bring in all of the reviews and rich text testimonials, because that's a very important element to this as well. I mean, courses are an experience, very, very much the same way a concert's an experience. So if you can get your peers, if you can show, your audience for that course, who you're trying to talk to, and if you can add their experience into the way you present yourself, that's going to increase time on page, and it's going to increase the likelihood that learner, that buyer, reaches out to you directly. So I think.
Sorry, I was just about to jump in there and say I couldn't agree more. Because we work very closely with the CPD register here in the UK. They have an international kind of directory that people are able to search for our training providers on, and also verify that their accreditation is valid. These kind of areas. And one of the things that we talk to them quite a lot about is how they present themselves on there. Because all of their courses are listed, their organization's listed. So it's about making sure that they're clear about, as you say, things like the learning objectives. I mean, we have an accredited framework in place, you may have noticed on our website. Excuse me, Andrew. But we try to encourage everyone to use that framework to help them present themselves, because it's everything from the accessibility measures of the course, that we're looking at. We ask them to present to us. But it's really important that they're able to present that to their potential clients as well, so that people understand if there's any prerequisites that they need to join the course, what accessibility measures they can offer their clients, a variety of different things, including very clearly the learning outcomes that they're actually going to be teaching people. So we have a very, very similar model there where we're trying to encourage people to present themselves properly. I mean, do you find that when people apply and, submit courses to you, that's something you have to advise them on, or do they come to you with very clear kind of objectives already put out?
No, I think that we do want to make it very clear. Obviously, whenever you're working with a vendor, and we have annual costs the way we do things, and so we want to we are enlisting a team to actually build these pages, to put the time and work it takes to deliver a good digital marketing product. So when you pay for a service, you kind of the initial impulse is to sit back and relax and let the vendor handle it. I think when we talk again about courses in particular, we know digital marketing. We know how to position our clients. We do not know how to run their courses. We do not know their USPs. So we try and gather as much of that information as we can, and we try and make it as easy as possible. So I think customer success management, so we have regular calls with our clients throughout the year to check in on what's working best. The other thing too is whenever you're using any external agent, you really want to look inward first and say, well, how do we convert best? Or do we get most of our clients from our website? Does somebody need to pick up the phone and talk to our clients? And I have a very, this is how I because I've been working in the UK market a long time, but I have a few analogies that make it clear I'm an American. And one of them is, it's the difference between a basketball and a car. Are you selling a basketball? Do you need to talk to somebody to buy that thing? You don't need to talk to somebody if you're buying a basketball. So when it comes to on-demand online, the self-paced online learning, which is a fantastic methodology, but tends to be a lower price point. We'll set up different conversions for that than we would for say a £2,000 5-day or a £5,000 course. That's usually something that you need to talk to somebody about. So we want to generate leads for programs like that. I feel like I wandered away from your question. It was a good one,
No, don't worry. It's all great information anyway, Andrew. So it's super to hear these kind of things from guys like yourself. So, just in your opinion, this is a very broad question for you, right? What makes great learning, and what are the key tips to actually promoting that on findcourses?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, my answer to that question has probably changed over the years personally, and I'll come around to how to get these things out there. But uh, I, uh, I think personally for me, I used to think of great training as something that answered whatever my need was as quickly as possible. So I used to take a lot of online training, and as I'd say grown in my responsibilities and my position, but I think this is relevant for most people. I am more interested in, and I get a great deal more out of experiential learning. So when these courses take a bit longer, but if you are able to find a course related to whatever the subject matter is, say leadership or conflict management, and have treat your course as a kind of laboratory to experience conflict. So then, I can't tell you the number of times I'll take a course and I'll come back into the work environment, and a task or something will come up, and it'll click, and I'll say, "Oh no, I've dealt with this before, and I know what to do here." And it's not because I saw a few slides on it or I studied it at home. It's because I've done it. I've done it in a controlled environment with qualified instructors there to walk me through it. So I think again we've come around to confidence a little bit, but I think more to answer your question, I so that's, I think, experiential learning. I think ways to do blended learning to get a bit of the to have that follow up after the program, and to really solidify those lessons. I think that's what I gravitate towards personally. When it comes to marketing, I think the most important, if I were to slim it down, the most important thing to keep in mind, especially with these relationships that you want to build lifetime customer value, right? If you're running a program and you want to keep working with this individual or with this company going forward, or have them say good things about you, it's making sure that what you put out into the world covers all of your capacities. So the courses that you list may not be the ones you sell, and I think that's something. So we changed our model years ago. We used to have our costs set on a given number of course titles, which encouraged people to give us as little information as possible. So a couple of years ago, I changed the model. We changed the model to unlimited course titles for a set fee, because we had people that were saying, well, this is really the only course this is my flagship course, or let's just go with these three. And the problem with that is you may be able to change, somebody's looking for emotional intelligence, not your flagship leadership course, right? But you, of course, can train on that subject, and you're capable of answering that need. So you want to bring in these needs and create these opportunities to have these conversations. And then they may actually need your comprehensive leadership program. They may need this other thing. They've come in on emotional intelligence, but as you start to understand their problems and the implications of those problems, turns out they need this other thing that you also run. So I think casting a wide net within the realm of professionalism, obviously never market something that you're not prepared to run. They may, in fact, know exactly what they need, and if you don't offer that, that's a problem. But I think that's my advice.
So you've mentioned before, Andrew, as well, that you've operated in both the UK and in the US, and you're there in Stockholm. I mean, is there a big difference between, what the standards are, or, what people are looking for in those various regions you've worked in?
Yeah. There's absolutely, and we work globally, of course. So one of the things that we have very different supplier networks in each market we work in, and this ties a little bit into how we've changed and grown over the years. Our company for a lot of years was very publisher based, so we would work with the large newspaper publications, and we had a fantastic working relationship with the Independent and London Evening Standard for I think 10, 15 years, for a long time. We've recently shifted, and I think a lot of our company has, more towards the software side and working directly with companies to handle their external learning purchases. So we're often set up as a punch out catalog within, they get a little technical here, but within their procurement systems and their learning management systems. So we have pretty clear visibility on what each market is doing, because for these large multinationals, we can help connect them with their locales. And I would say that we see more corporate training happening in the US, so more of a tendency towards on-site and group bookings. Of course, those happen globally, obviously, but I would say skews a little more that direction, and more still towards the open classroom in the UK and in Europe. So. And again, I'm speaking very, very broadly here, because it's not like the seminar industry is going away in the US. But I think there is a geographical element there. It's obviously easier to bring a trainer to you from LA than it is to travel to LA from New York. So and whereas going from one place to the other in the UK is a bit simpler. So there is that side of it. I think I also want to make clear, you hear me talking about corporate learning and professional learning. I think that we've grown that way as an organization in the US, and we're really more of a full service shop in the UK and in Europe. So we work a lot with access to higher education and vocational and college and universities, obviously in the UK and in Europe. But in the US, we are pretty focused on the corporate market.
Yeah, I've noticed from your websites as well that you guys do a lot of research into the regions that you work in as well, and you present a lot of news events, and you do a lot of kind of articles and things like that people can tap into. I mean, it's very similar with our organisation here at the CPD Group. We like to position ourselves as offering advice and offering kind of information to people that is useful for them to help grow their businesses and help them move forward. And it seems that you guys do quite a similar thing there as well, offering that kind of added value service to people. I mean, tell us a little bit about that side of the business.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that's if I light up with that question, it's because I really enjoy that side of the business. I think leveraging our data and understanding what these markets are doing is very exciting. We pay a lot of attention to fluctuations in interest, and that's the benefit of having millions of users through all our sites. We can see if a topic is trending, and we can get on it right away with research and articles. And so that's something where, as a larger organization, I think I'm really excited about our future in that way now as Keystone. We've been, it's a big thing merging so many companies together, but we have fantastic data to see. So we generate a lot of reports. So we have training barometers. We generate bi-monthly reports on our own site, which we make visible for everyone on our site, just based off of our stats, to try and share as much of that knowledge as we can. And then more, I would say, in learning, L&D reports, short course college trend reports. So we invest in that. I think I probably, from the business side, I may attend a few more meetings explaining why we invest so heavily in that, because but I'm happy to take those meetings, because I think they're wonderful. They're wonderful activities, and they really help. They just help everyone get an understanding of where we should be spending our valuable learning time. I think it's a real thing when people cut time out of their day to learn something. I think that's something that we should do everything we can to support.
Absolutely. And I mean, you offer it out in so many different ways as well, with your webinars, your articles, your reports. I mean, it's a fantastic resource for people. So well done to you guys.
Well, thanks.
It's a really good piece of work you're doing there. So I want to bring this down to a practical level for, the viewers that we might have here on the podcast. Okay. and the listeners, of course. A very practical level. If I was a training provider, I've got accredited courses and I want to promote them through findcourses, how do I do it?
Yep, that's a great question. So we have, of course, we have a lot of ways to reach out to us, as simple as info@findcourses.co.uk. Of course, we'll make my information and my team's information available there. We have a site called providers. So providers.findcourses.co.uk is really a bit more orchestrated to help learning providers broadly, of vocational or professional or leisure, even to find someone to speak to. It's a little misleading speaking to me, but we're in all of these markets we work in. So we have professionals with background with a deep background in the UK, either based in Sheffield or one of my expat English colleagues here in Sweden. But yeah, we have a good team to do that. And I think the other thing that I would say is whenever we're contacted, because we work on an annual contract basis, we pay a lot of attention to our ideal customer profile, as everyone should. So if somebody comes to us without a lot of courses, we may not suggest a listing. We may suggest something else. We have a lot of marketing products that we work with. So we put a lot of energy into making sure that we can help our clients get to market in the way that makes the most sense for their business. That's different for everyone.
Brilliant. I mean, it sounds like a fantastic service, Andrew. So, well done to you guys, as I say. And that research, that information you're sharing with people is of great use. So they should be tapping into that as much as possible. So I just want to thank you very much, Andrew, for joining us. It's been great talking to you. And we've had some wonderful insights into what you guys do. And hopefully those people listening and watching the podcast will, engage your services to promote their courses all across the UK and further afield. All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here on the podcast today. I hope you found the information from Andrew useful. So please do look up findcourses and you'll see all the services available to you there. And please join us on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the CPD Group podcast. Be sure to tune in next time for more helpful content. See you soon.